Hi all, it's Kirsten, and of course we're doing another weekly vlog, and this week it's Christmas week, so I'm only working the first 3 days of the week and then I have a lovely 5 days off over Christmas. So I'm super excited just to be able to relax and chill out and just enjoy the Christmas spirit given what it is in this current year. But either way, it will be nice to have a few days off work. Now, currently I am still listening to Sword of Fire by Katherine at Kerr, and I'm really enjoying this. This was a 5-star prediction, however I don't think it's going to quite hit that 5-star mark. It is still a good book though. We are steeped in Celtic mythology. We've had dragons and something called Dwervian. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, and I have been listening to the audiobook, but some of these words are a wee bit difficult for me to pronounce. And we also have elves mentioned, we also have dwarves mentioned, so there's a lot going on in this, and it's a very political heavy book. So we're following 3 main characters. One of them, Elise, who is someone who is basically training to be a bard of sorts. Now, a bard in these times is someone that speaks for the people, voices their concerns, and that's their right to do so. However, at the very start of this book, a bard is allowed to starve to death, and it sparks this rebellion. And Elise is someone that is fighting for rights in the justice system to be able to have things governed more fairly for people. So it's really interesting and I like her perspective on it. We also have Kerr, who is a steel dagger. Now, a steel dagger is someone that basically has no honour. They have been exiled for whatever reason and are now basically like mercenaries. And he is escorting Elise to try and get this book that should hopefully help them in their cause to have a fairer legal system. We also have a nobleman's daughter who is also trying to get the same thing, and she is trying from her position as a nobleman's daughter to again push things forward. Amongst this, we also have some border disputes going on, so there are some skirmishes that are happening as well, and everything's very tense and high stakes with regards to the politics of this. But it is definitely more of a travelling story as Elise and Kerr try and get hold of this book and try and bring it back and have proof that the way things are now shouldn't stay this way. I haven't seen many people talk about it, and I'm really surprised because I think it actually came out earlier this year, but I'm excited to continue with it. I'm almost halfway through, and to be honest, I think this is going to be a start of a really interesting series. So that's a really good audiobook. I have put Merciful Crow on the back burner, which I started last week, but I want to get through Sword of Fire and one more audiobook because those are books on my actual TBR before I continue with Merciful Crow. So I will be getting back to that soon, but I think I'm actually going to have to go back a couple of chapters because I was doing things at the same time and I kind of lost track of what was happening, so I definitely need to go back. But that's an interesting audiobook where you're basically in this tier system where depending on what rank you're in, it shows where you are in society, and these ranks are defined by animals. So phoenixes are nobles, and at this time there is a disease that goes round and it kills off people very quickly and is highly contagious, but there is one rank of people, which are crows, which are immune, and there's a lot of political ties to it and stuff as well. So it is an interesting one, but like I said, I need to catch up on my TBR and get these ones finished first before I can go back to that one. And then physically, I have started my reread of Hero of Ages by and Sanderson. This is a chunky book, but it is one that I do enjoy, but I've only actually read it once before, and that was several years ago, so I don't actually remember much of this story. Plus, couldn't tell you much of it because that would give away too many spoilers. But the Mistborn trilogy is a really interesting trilogy. In the first book, we're following a few different main characters, but one of them is Vin, and she is Scar. Now, Scar are horribly oppressed and held down in this empire, and basically the bad guy has won, so the Dark Lord has won, and he is ruling over people, and Vin ends up in this group of rebels that's trying to overthrow him. We have a very good magic system in here as well, where it's all about metals. So different metals, if you ingest them, allow you to do different things. Now, in some people you can only ingest the one and it allows you to do one thing, but we have the very rare people who are called Mistborns who can ingest all of them and use all of the abilities. It's a really good magic system. Brandon Sanderson explains it really well in this. It explains the limits of it and the possibilities of it. I think it's really, really well done and well explained. So this is a really good one to start off if you're interested in adult fantasy but a little bit worried because of how dense they can be. Mistborn, I think, is a really good one to start with because it's so well explained and it's such a good storyline. The second book takes place a year after the events in the first book, and this third book is taking place a year after the events in the second book. So it's really interesting. We have multiple different characters that are going on. There is quite a lot of politics in the second book especially, so some people find that one a bit slower, but again, I quite like politics, so it didn't bother me. This one is a lot more action paced, a lot more things that are happening that our main characters are trying to deal with. To be honest, I think Hero of Ages will take me most of the week to read. Normally I could actually finish a book like this in about 4 days, but I've been reading a lot slower, so I don't think that's gonna happen. I should hopefully get it finished by the end of the week though, and like I said, it is a reread, but I don't remember too much of it, so I am enjoying the fact that when I'm reading it as I go, I start remembering other things. That's it. That's the plan this week, and obviously Christmas and just relaxing and enjoying that, and hopefully eating a lot of food. But I hope you all had an amazing Christmas, because this will be coming out after, and let me know what you got. What did you get? Was you happy with what you got? Did you get the books that you wanted? Honestly, I hope you've all had an amazing time, but as usual, I'm rambling and I really do have to go to work. Day of work before the Christmas break. I get 5 days off, which I'm super excited for. It's gonna be really nice just to chill out and relax. And as you saw, I was wrapping up some Christmas presents yesterday, and while I was doing that, I was listening to Sword of Fire, and I have pretty much almost finished this book. I have to say, it's definitely not going to be the 5-star read that I was hoping it would be. I have enjoyed it. As I said, I enjoyed the politics. It does have some fantasy elements with regards to Dwemer, which is kind of like magical abilities. It's quite rare in people, and people are quite concerned about it, and I think because they don't know too much about it, there's a lot of fear around it. And we do also have dragons and stuff. Now, I do like that side of things. I do like the politics in this. However, I will say that I do feel the relationships between our characters are just a bit, one, predictable, and two, very fast paced, and I can't really feel that connection between them as much as I would have liked a slower burn build up to a relationship. It was very fast paced and just like, oh okay, this is happening and done. But I think that is mainly because most of the emphasis and work in this book has gone to the politics side of things. There is a couple of other things that I'm not quite enjoying about this book, and that is to do with the time that it's set in. Now, for me, I think as a fantasy book, you have a lot more creative leeway. So in this, there was only one mention of some people being of a darker coloured skin, and one of our main characters being very disconcerted by this and being a bit like, oh, I've never seen people like this before. And it was very brief, but it was just like, I feel that wasn't necessary, because it's like, I understand that for the time, yes, that would have been in their thoughts, but is that necessary in a fantasy world? Because again, you have that leeway with creativity to make sure that that isn't a part of this world. And just the differences between male and female and stuff, that some of it I'm having to like roll my eyes at, because I just feel like you're in a fantasy setting, surely it could have been slightly different. But that's a personal preference on my part. So apart from those things, like I said, I'm enjoying the actual political storyline in this. It's just the interactions between characters I'm just not quite gelling with, and some of the things that are purely due to the time that this book is set in that I just feel we could have could have approached differently. So I'm not quite sure what star rating we'll land on. I guess I will update you once I've finished it and once I've put it through core pile. But yeah, definitely not the 5-star read, which is a bit disappointing. However, I have made a little bit more progress with a current 5-star read, and I know this is going to be 5 stars because it is a reread, and that's Hero of Ages by Sanderson. And honestly, I haven't read as much as I had hoped. I was really hoping to read 100 pages a day because this is a 700-page book. I thought if I read 100 pages a day, I will basically finish this by the end of the week, which is what I was really hoping for. But I haven't quite hit that because I have been busy doing other things such as wrapping Christmas presents and uploading videos and editing and all sorts of things. But like I said, I do have 5 days off coming up, so I'm hoping I'll be able to catch up with this, and I really am enjoying this. Again, we do have some politics in this, but it's not as heavy-handed as the second book in this. Instead, it's more dealing with survival and dealing with the events that happened at the end of the second book and the fallout because of that. And I can't say much more than that because it will be spoilers, but I am very much enjoying it, and because I am slowly remembering things as I go along, I'm finding it very interesting to see how Sanderson did this plot twist that he did but left breadcrumbs for it throughout it, and I just think it's very well done. But like I said, I am very excited for my few days off, so I should probably get to work, get this day over with, and then I can enjoy my relaxing days off. Merry Christmas all! Honestly, this is not going to be a long update. I'm not even going to talk about any books that I've read because I just want to enjoy Christmas with my family and just chill. So I hope you all have had an amazing Christmas, because obviously you'll be seeing this afterwards, and I will catch up very shortly with the books that I have finished and I'm currently reading. But for now, I'm going to go enjoy Christmas. Good morning! So as I said, I had a lovely Christmas, and yesterday I didn't do anything, and I mean anything. I literally woke up, ate, watched TV, ate, had a nap. Like that was my day. I didn't do anything, and it was absolutely lovely, although I did feel a little bit guilty that I wasn't doing something. But yeah, it was just really nice just to chill out with my partner and eat loads of food. Now, in terms of reading, let's catch up to where we are. So I did finish Sword of Fire by Katherine Kerr. I think I finished this on Christmas Eve actually, and it was okay. It ended up being a 3-star read. As I've said previously, the politics I really liked. I liked the idea of it, but the rest of it, the character interactions, the development of them, the relationships, that just felt too fast-paced for me. Now, the world is an interesting one, and I've since learned that this is set in a world where Katherine Kerr's already done a 15-book-long series, and this is set 300 years later, I believe. And I haven't read her other books, so maybe it would help if I did that, but I don't know. In all honesty, I love the cover of this. This was an immediate cover buy because I love the aesthetic on this. I would potentially pick up the next book just to see where it develops from, but that's about it. Like, there's a few interesting parts. We have Dwemer, which is like a form of magic, which one of our main characters has access to, and I think he's going to start learning about that. So that would be interesting, so I'd pick it up for that. But there was I just couldn't quite get on with the character development in this, and I'm a very much character driven reader, so if that isn't done properly, it's always going to be less of an impact on me. But like I said, the politics in this was very interesting. I liked what they were fighting for. It was just a bit anticlimactic, I think, for me. So yeah, 3 stars, and I may pick up the second book depending on how I feel. Then I have been reading, as you know, Hero of Ages by Sanderson. I have 100 pages left, so I will be finishing this up today, and we already know it's going to be a 5-star read. This is a reread for me. It's the 3rd in the Mistborn trilogy that I am absolutely loving. So many things are coming to a head, especially in these last 100 pages. The way everything connects together, I mean, Sanderson does it so well, and I'm pretty sure you don't need me to gush about his writing anymore, because that's a common occurrence on this channel, because I do think he does his fantasy worlds amazingly well. Like, it's so good. So yeah, Really enjoying this. 100 pages left. I will be finishing this up today. And then finally, I did start reading Vox yesterday. I actually started reading this on ebook, which isn't something I was going to do because I had actually saved the audiobook on Scribd, but that's no longer available. So I decided, you know what, I'll read it on ebook, which I don't normally like ebook format, I'll be honest. But I got to chapter 12 and I was like, this isn't really for me. If the audiobook becomes available, I would definitely pick it back up, and I think audiobook would definitely be the better way to do this. It's a bit like Sword of Fire. There's some really interesting things happening politically in this world, and in this one it's kind of set in our time and it's in America. Women in America can only speak 100 words, otherwise they then get like this electric shock triggered to them, and they're not allowed to read or write or do anything really. It's basically some extremist Christianity has taken over America, and they're basically saying that, well, men are above women and women have to be more subjugated and stuff, and they're just supposed to be the perfect housewife, and that's it. That's all they're allowed to do. They're not allowed to talk, they're not allowed to write or read or do anything. They're not allowed to work. It's really a weird society, and from that aspect it's interesting politically to see how that came about, because it does start showing you that. It has like these flashbacks to what triggered things and how it was implemented and stuff. And our main character is a mum of 3 boys and mum of 2 boys and a girl, and you're seeing her basically just struggle because literally a year ago she was a head doctor, like the best in her field, and it is interesting but it is a bit dense for me, so I think audiobook would be the way to go because I can generally find those a bit easier to listen to because I'm busy doing other things. So I don't think this is one I could sit down and read physically. Like I said, I got to chapter 12, so this is a DNF for now, but if the audiobook becomes available I will read it because it's interesting to me. I want to see how this all came to pass, I want to see the effects of it and everything, but at the same time I'm just a bit like, I don't know. I don't know. It's a bit dense for me. So that's it. That's what I have been up to. So honestly, if I finish this today, which I should do, then I can move on to the final book of my TBR, and that's Empire of Storms. So I'm very happy with all of that. And yeah, like I said, I hope you all had an amazing Christmas. I'm gonna leave the vlog here. I hope you've all had a wonderful time and you got all the things that you were hoping for. I was gifted many book vouchers, so I cannot wait to be spending those, but I actually want to wait for Waterstones to reopen because I prefer using book vouchers in person rather than just ordering it online and doing the click and collect, which is available, but I would rather wait until the stores are back open, whenever that may be, and do a nice little rummage around the store. So very excited that I got those, and now I am rambling as per usual. So if you have enjoyed this video, do give it a thumbs up and subscribe. All my social media links to my Instagram and Goodreads will be linked below, and I will catch you in the next one.